through 13. And Sean, would you do the honors, give us a blessing?
Father, we come to you, just want to thank you for this another day you've given us, Lord. Just go with us as we do the business here at Cherokee Nation. We'll be sure to stop and thank you for all the good things you give us, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, Shane, please do roll call.
David Walking-Stick.
Tony.
Tom Garvin. Bill England.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Big
Sean Crittenden. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Yep.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Janice Taylor. David Thornton. Victoria Vesquez. Brian Warner. We do have a quorum.
Thanks, Shelley. Do we hear a motion to approve the minutes of January 11th? So moved. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Down to reports. Talking Leaves Job Corps, Ms. Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Good afternoon. I just wanted to report that Talking Leaves, I talked to Mona Holt just a few minutes ago. She says we're still ranked number 38 in the nation. And this is a first for Talking Leaves, and this is since its inception, and I can truthfully say that. There's like 6 pages of Job Corps centers all over the nation, and to be ranked number 38 on the second page, that's the highest we've ever been able to be. She says that they hope that they'll be number 36 when the numbers come out in the rankings, but she said that depends on other centers, whether their numbers have been up. There's 11 different performance ratings that we have to compete with every month on that center. And sometimes it's our reading gains, to our math gains, to our GED graduates, to our high school graduates, and so on and so forth. And right now, we're ranked in the ranking, we're 104%, which is above the regional level, and it's above the national level, which is good for the staff over there, so they're to be commended for that. So if you see Job Corps, pat them on the back, because they have really put the work out. We have a ribbon cutting and an open house scheduled next Tuesday in conjunction with Legislative Day. If you're going up for Legislative Day, at 4 o'clock we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony, which will follow all of the activities over at the Capitol. And it'll be at 4 o'clock. The open house starts, I think, at 1 o'clock, and it'll go up till about 4:30, but the official ribbon cutting will be at 4 o'clock that afternoon. So on your way out of town, we want you to come by our office. We will be getting invitations out. I was waiting to get the nod from the government relations group as to what time to schedule that, and Lisa Long sent me an email just before I came down, so it'll be at 4 o'clock next Tuesday. So we do hope you'll come by. I know Victoria is. Watch her tell me she's not.
No, I am. Well, can you just say the address?
No, I can't. I apologize. It is on Lincoln Boulevard, and it's just right down from the state capitol. It is the campaign headquarters where our state superintendent had her campaign headquarters, if you know where that was at. I have not been up there to the office, so I don't know where it's at, but it's on Lincoln Boulevard. It's just right down from the capitol.
I just thought for everybody else,
But we'll get the invitations out. We'll email them out. I'll have the speaker to have Gail get them out to you, if that's okay with you, Speaker.
You're good, Diane.
Talking Leaves is one of the few centers that will be recognized in Washington, D.C. in about 2 weeks. They get a STAR award, and that is for all of their community relations activities that they've done for the past year. Those students are required to do so much community service while they're a student there on that center, and Andrea Dickerson has been keeping up and tracking that, and we submitted all that information to the Department of through the coalition, and they're going to be recognizing Talking Leaves as one of the centers for all of their community relations activities. That's where they went down and participated in a parade, or they helped give out food, or they made something and gave it out, like a bean dinner or something of that sort. So They also do blood drives and a lot of other things. So they get points for that throughout the year, and they have been very fortunate to get that Star Award for several years. They have a new discipline system in, which is part of their behavior management. There was a conference call last week by the regional director from the national director, and all the Job Corps centers are going under a behavior management disciplines program. So we'll be getting some information out about that. So if you get calls from parents, guardians asking about certain reasons why maybe their little son, daughter, granddaughter, whatever may have pointed out, kind of like in a job, well, that may be why, because the federal government is getting real strict on the behavior management of those centers. And it's probably because of some of the incidents that have occurred at other centers throughout the nation this past year. We have our testing tech, Billy Fain, back with us. She was out for a while. She's back in our office over here in Tahlequah behind the motel. We are in the process of hiring another testing tech, which will be full-time in our prior office, so that we have 3 full-time testing techs who can actually administer the GED test as well as these other tests. And they are also going to be administering the Pearson View test along with the other test that's out there, which is kind of like your kind of like your ACT, but they'll also be able to give the other test. And there's an array of tests that they can give. You go on the computer and they can assist you there at the testing sites. We are certified through the state. Lander and her staff are certified through the state to give those. We are continuing our customized training with culinary and Owasso starting in March. We've got electrical that's going on right now. They're getting ready to start a second heavy equipment class. HVAC started, and it'll run up through April the 8th. And they just completed masonry. We're still doing trucking, and we're also doing welding with the local union hall. And the programs have been going really well. It's kind of a conglomerate of the sector partnership grant, as well as some of our Taro contractors have people in there, and we're working very well with C&V on the culinary. We've got 2 grants that are Department of Labor grants that we are possibly going to go after. One for sure, which is dealing with the visa businesses that have these visa employees that are out there. And we're going to be in competition on that grant, and it will be open to anybody. There is a disadvantaged youth grant that's out there, and we are questioning whether or not we're eligible to compete for it. And in the event Department of Labor tells us that we're not, there are 2 areas, northeast and eastern, that says that they will partner with us through the state, so that we possibly will still continue to go after that. I'll have more on that as we start working through that. We have a job fair, which is diversified job fair, tomorrow in West Siloam Springs. And if you've seen some of the news articles, they have several positions that are open there. Nason and his team from Cherokee Nation will be there. There's several positions that are open through the Cherokee Nation, and we have other businesses that will be there. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and runs till 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So if you know anybody that needs a job, tell them to come to West Siloam Springs, and we'll be putting one on at the Hard Rock later in the months to come. Y'all have any questions?
Councilman Baker?
Yes. Do you know the date of that the Job Corps will get the recognition in D.C.?
They go up there the first part of March. I'm not really sure about the dates. We go up there. It's a spring meeting and a fall meeting, and I'm not really sure about the date, but I can get that for you. Are you going to be up there?
I'll be there the 2nd through the 5th of March.
Okay. I can get those dates for you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Chief Byrd?
Yes, Diane, congratulations on topping these, and to Mr. Littlejohn and his faculty. That's an achievement there.
Thank you. They deserve it. They've worked very hard this past year.
You know, we have this training that's taken place, culinary arts, in the past few months that you've had throughout the 14 counties. We have a lady there at Maracoma Gymnasium. She's taken one of your trainings, and she's very good. Shirley?
Yes, I know Shirley Godwin.
How come we don't train some of our people here at the complex on some of the food handling? And, you know, we're probably the most potluck eating group of people in the state of Oklahoma.
It's open to anybody that wants to take the classes.
Okay. We probably need to present, have we had a class here that I'm not aware of?
We had one here at the Job Corps Center. We've had better luck with those being at the VOTEC.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, we've had a waiting list for the ones up in the northern end of the counties.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Give me if you address this. Your report references some HVAC and electrical training. Where is that going to take place?
The HVAC, I believe, is here
Here being.
in Tahlequah. And the electrical is either here or it is in Muskogee or Stillwell, and I'm not really sure. I don't really know for sure where it's at, because they have not actually started one of them. One of them will start. It's the, no. Yeah, the HVAC, I think, started this week. I can find out and let you know.
Okay, that'd be awesome. And it's some plumbing assistant also. I would be interested to know where all of those trades are gonna.
Hunter, if you're listening to this, and I'm pretty sure you are, would you make sure you get that out to the council members? Run it through Gail, please. Everybody's listening to this, I know.
Okay.
Councilman Buzzer?
Yes, Diane, you got I think it was DOL grant here 6 months ago. Anybody could apply for those.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, what kind of a ratio you have for Cherokees or native versus non-Indian?
Well, the training programs that I'm talking to you about, we're using the people that have been laid off or people that have been off for 27 weeks, and they're going into those customized training programs. And it's through that grant that we're able to run those people through there. We're also putting some of the Tarot people through there as well. I believe you all brought that up at one of the meetings about the people that are being trained through the Tarot dollars. They are also going through some of those programs as well. And we've also got other people that qualify for one of the other programs. So we have kind of a deuce mixture of several programs that we're running people through those training programs. They've been real successful. They're customized trades, and most of them are the blue-collar type trades, but they're good-paying jobs. And a lot of them are going out and they're working in apprenticeship capacity once they complete that training, and we're working it from a fast-track angle and doing all of the safety training up front, and then they're working with someone who has the license.
Councilman Warner?
More of a comment. I had he's a tarot vendor. He is a brick mason, and he wanted to say thank you for the masonry class. I know me and you talked several times about him and his problems with being able to find somebody that's Cherokee, and he did actually go down and picked up some individuals, got a few hired on staff, and depending upon upcoming jobs, he may be able to hire more. You know what I mean? He said so, he appreciated it and thanked everybody and wanted me to make sure I relayed that message to you. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'll convey that to Daryl and Brenda because they're the ones that are spearheading this.
All right, any other questions, Diane? Diane, good report.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next, Executive Director's Report, Ron Etheridge.
Okay, I have to confess, last meeting, I was here without my hearing aids. Fix it, that's a good thing. If you see me pull them out, then you know, okay. So if you ask me a question, I look at you long, and then I can't hear you, even with them in. No, they're not bad. Yes, I want to say this is very commendable. The resolution declaring support for the dependent districts. I started out in the dependent district. If I was smart, I'd have probably stayed there the duration of the time that I spent in education. 'Cause it was a good one, had all kinds of support, and the people there. And I said this the other day at the MVT distribution that that's the community. I mean, that's basically, I mean, I was at Sequoia Claremore as superintendent for 10 years, and that's not a dependent, but it was the community. I mean, that's, they wanted to be called Sequoia Claremore, not Claremore Sequoia. You know, and any time we had an activity of any kind, that's where they were. And these dependent districts are no different. I mean, that's a thing. I mean, that's ownership that they've got. And then later, I know they go on in and they become, you know, I mean, pride develops there, just like it was at that dependent district, but it takes a little while. And I noticed this up here at Sequoia. When I walk Leroy's Halls, these kids, they're home. They feel a part of one another. You know, sometimes they wouldn't feel that out in another environment. And so, you know, it's a good thing. So I just wanted to comment what you're doing there. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little report, and then if you got questions, have at it. But college and career in the fall, we told you around 3,800, so it's 3,758 actually, scholarships that were awarded. And this spring, we've had 3,084. So there's 540 did not renew. Maybe they decided they wanted to go a different route. And 50 were missing documents. When that happens, either transcript wasn't turned in to us. If that be the case, they're probably not wanting to go again the second semester anyway, or community service hours. Maybe they didn't get those in. We had 42 graduate, and then 42 were ineligible because of grades. The Promise Scholars were down about 14 from 93 to 79, but they're still out there in Northeastern, Rogers, and Connors, those three institutions. Concurrent enrollment, the fall, we had 337. This spring, right now the count is 212, but it's actually 310 because Northeastern has failed to invoice us yet, and they're always late in invoicing. They're wanting to make sure they get everyone in. Whenever that happens, then that's what the count will be. It's 310, so that's not off much. College, that's a report on the scholarship and the funding and everything. I want to let you know this because some have asked. We are going to have a college and career night up in the northern counties. Right now, we have been talking to Bartlesville, the VOTEC there, and that's probably where it's going to be, and maybe next time around we can move it on down, maybe a little more centrally located, but right now we've got, that's where we're at, where we're looking at. Education support, TOS, and you guys will get an invitation for this. You can come either one or both. We're going to have a meeting in Claremore. We're going to have a meeting in Sallisaw. The meeting in Claremore will be the 25th of March, and that is Good Friday, and we are shut down, but that's what we set up, and the state superintendent, she's going to be there, so we're going to continue to have it on Friday the 25th. And also at the one at Claremore, Chief of Staff and Representative Hoskin will be there to speak. So we've got two people there that the superintendents will want to listen to. And then we're going to Sallisaw after that, following next Friday, and we'll have a representative candidate, and then also, hopefully, we've got question marked in the state superintendent. We don't know if we can get her back to back, but anyway, we've got that. And then JOM, Speaker Byrd and Councilmember Snell were present at our national JOM meeting. And we appreciate that. And we had Mark Vance was elected to a national JOM Board of Directors position. So anyway, that's what I have. If you have any questions for me, yes, sir.
Hey, Councilman Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When is the college night at Bartlesville?
It's not officially set. The date has not been set. We're working out the particulars with the campus site.
Could you send that to us when you get that date?
Do what now?
Could you send that date to us?
You betcha. You betcha. I'll write that down.
Hey, Councilwoman Taylor.
I have got a college student that is on the waiting list for spring funding. And I talked to him last week, and he has been in touch with a couple of people in your office that should have been able to give him some answers on that. I have also emailed them. I'm just wondering if we could get a follow-up on that. for him. You indicated you had something like 50 students that didn't return from fall,
Right.
and
Okay.
he had asked about the process of applying for spring funding. If you didn't apply for fall, never got a clarification on how you get in on that, and just would like some answers on that.
Okay. Won't you have him email me or Jennifer? And we'll.
I have done that.
Okay. Okay. Have you CC'd me or was it?
I did not see you,
Okay.
but I can.
Okay. Yes, do that, please.
Okay, so that's one thing.
Do what now?
That's one thing. The TOS meeting in Claremore, is that gonna be at RSU, or is that gonna be at the VOTEC, or do you know?
That's going to be at the racetrack.
Oh, okay.
At the casino there. And the one in Salsaw likewise, it'll be at the casino at Salsaw.
Okay, and then the third thing I have is, the language department is teaching some language classes at the RSU campus in Pryor this spring. And I want to extend my appreciation for that, for bringing those up to the northern areas. I know it gets done a lot down here in Tahlequah and further south, but I really appreciate having that up in my district.
Okay,
Okay, that's all I have.
thank you.
Any comments?
I'll make sure they hear that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Chief Byrd?
Hey, Ron, tell the JOM staff for really doing an outstanding job up there at the national level. You had Reba Brenner, you had Lacey,
Okay?
you had, Mark, of course, was a new board member. Councilman Snell was up there. But our person that's on the board up there at national level, she's a tribal member as well, Jackie White.
Right.
Used to be federal programs director there for Union, but now I think she's just a national board, but she's kind of directed the whole thing. Many of our people were presenters and speakers at that conference. They just didn't go up there to observe. We were actually the people that, we were the group that everybody took their lead from.
That's great.
The Muskogee Creek Nation, they ante up $50,000 to that every year. And so I checked and see how much we give. It's pretty minimal, what we gave. So there was kind of a challenge that was made out there. I said, I won't make any promises, but we will make a contribution somewhere. I don't know how much. We'll get back to that when it's, maybe look at our budget here and get with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
It works.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'd just like to make a comment as well. A lot of you guys know that the consolidation bill, House Bill 2824, didn't get out of committee yesterday on the consolidation of K-8s. But one that did pass was the education voucher bill that the Oklahoma House panel, it came out of committee. And what that does is it pays every student in Oklahoma will get an amount of money from the State Department of Education, and a lot of it's focused towards kids that's in a charter school or a private school. So they'll get funds to go to private school versus a public school. So in another way, it's taking money out of the public schools. So it did, and it passed. It was like 9-8. I mean, it just barely passed. So it'll go to the House. So something to think about and chew on a little bit. But Councilman Warner, I commend you for getting us all in contact with those 3 state reps and getting their contacts. I know a lot of you guys made phone calls and text messages, and some of you guys talked to them face to face to lobby against consolidation. I commend you for that. So, and public school appreciation was a big success. You guys are always doing good events. The college and career event you guys had at the restaurant Cherokee's.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to extend that up to the northern end, you said?
Right. That's what we're trying to do. Working
Yeah.
on it right now.
That was a big hit. I think Councilman Warner was there, and who else was there at that deal? It was a packed house. I didn't think there'd be a lot of people there, but it was. I mean, it was. But we needing their venue. What's the dates of the college, of those college nights? What's the dates?
Of the college night at Bartlesville?
No, all of
no,
them.
all of them. The one in Tahlequah and up north and,
If you've had Jill Nanner, what's her name? Send those to Gail, then the council members would get those.
Okay.
the dates for the college and career nights,
They're not set yet.
oh, they're not set yet?
No.
Okay. But when you guys get them, send them to Gail, they'll
Okay,
distribute to all the
okay.
council. Any other questions or comments for Ron? Seeing none. Ron, good report, keep up the good work.
Let me say one other thing, if I may, and
Yeah.
then I'm Verna.
Okay.
Last thing I need to say is the RTR. And Gloria's done a heck of a job with that. I've sat back and kind of observed, and they've had three meetings with the people that kind of are behind the scenes, and then the kids have been brought in. There are 7 girls, and I know it's the first for that. And anyway, they have worked out the last 3 weekends. They're getting ready to, 1st of March, to have their bicycles. They've all been sized and so forth, and brought in here, and they get started. So you're going to see them round about here if you're in Cherokee County, working out on the weekends. So anyway, that thing is off and running, and running well. And then, okay, Verna could not be here, so she asked me to sit in. If you have questions, I'm probably going to end up writing them down.
Is there any questions for Verna? Good report, Verna.
Okay, thank you very
All
much.
right, Ron, we'll see. All right, next down, Sequoia High School Superintendent Leroy Qualls.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
First thing I'd like to do is say thank you very much for the tag money. Very seldom do you get to go to a happier place than what we were at last Friday. And with all the doom and gloom that the schools have been facing this year and every year for the last 8 years, that's a shot in the arm. I heard a lot of positive comments. I saw a lot of old friends there that were just so happy and asked me to thank you on their behalf if I ever had the chance. So thank you, and thank you for Sequoia High School also. You've got my report there. There's some other things I'll update you on. Today we have 363 students at Sequoia. That's down a little bit. We had our 3rd dorm count turned in 2 weeks ago, and that's down to 65, which is not good for us. But we know the situation that we had this year with not being able to take a bunch of dorm kids. Our 8th grade day was very successful. We had several schools from Adair County and Cherokee County, and individuals that showed up. I think we had a total of 166 kids. That includes our immersion kids also, but we had a good showing on that. Basketball-wise, the boys got invited to the Tournament of Champions next year. Concurrent enrollment, I told you last time we had 44 concurrent enrollment. That's extremely high for us or just about any school. And questions was asked how many Cherokees. We had 33 of those 44 are Cherokee kids. About 10 of those students are juniors that qualify to be able to take concurrent enrollment. They've got enough credits to be able to do that. We did have a meeting with President Turner after the TAC meeting the other day, and we're going to try to help some of our county schools get involved in that, and I think they're thinking eventually about going out into the 14 counties to include high school kids that want to go to college. The main purpose, I think, would be providing more nets for these kids when they get to college. I've had 2 universities call me in the last 3 years or so asking how do we retain native students. One was North Texas State University. And that's a tricky thing. I mean, what I explained to him is if I went to come out of high school and went there, and I'm walking down the sidewalk, in a week or so, I'm going to notice I'm the only native, or one of very few probably. So there's things that need to be set up for these kids to maybe have a commons area, maybe have a resource room somewhere where they can congregate and if not anything else, socialize. But you know as well as I do, when you go to college, the networking is one of the key factors in being able to succeed in some classes. Some of these classes are very tough. You know, someone may be better than me in a certain class, and I might be able to help them in a different class. So peer tutoring is one of the best things out there, and I'm talking Common Ed through college. Our students just finished our BIE testing the 22nd. If you'll remember, we had EOIs in December, and then we had BIE for 10 days in January, and now we're in a class routine trying to get all the experience and knowledge that we can to get ready for state testing, which will be coming down the pike here pretty soon. Our band did extremely well, as you can see on the report there. Several made honors, band, and very pleased about the Pride of Sequoia Marching Band. They've done extremely well, and the last two students named on the report are immersion kids, so they're kind of playing up, so to speak, and getting their feet wet with the band. We started with 7 students the first year of band at Sequoia, and now we've grown to about 65 altogether. Very good program. Mr. Morris does a great job with our band kids. Last night, at our last home game, we had senior night, and I was really pleased with our academic kids that were recognized at the game at center court. We have kids going. I think one is going to NSU, and our valedictorian is going to Brown University. And in between, we've got TU, we've got Arkansas, we've got OU, 2 or 3 going to OU. And I was extremely pleased with the quality of kids that and have succeeded in academics so well for us. And we've had, I could try to keep you up to par on the kids that went on last year. The kid that went to Harvard is doing very well. She came in and spoke to a group during Christmas break that I had in my office. I like to brag on those kids. Our immersion school has a grant that's working out real well for them. They're trying to raise their math scores. They have tutoring every day, and it's set up such as the Boys and Girls Clubs that are set up, having a power hour the first hour. And what that is they get all their homework done, or they receive individual tutoring that they might need in any particular subject. And when that hour is finished, they get a snack, and then they get to choose an activity, which is a variety of things that they may want to try to do. And that's set up in our elementary school up to the 8th grade. And I went through in some of the classrooms and watched, and I was really pleased now that we've got that going in our elementary school here. Some of you dependent schools and independent schools here and there have had that going for several years now, and I'm really proud of that. One of the activities that's offered is robotics, and we have a lady named Vicki Bangle that started the first week of January working with these kids. And during the second week of January, they went to a competition where there's 26 teams. And as you can see in the report there, the 3rd and 4th grade placed 3rd, and the 7th and 8th grade placed 4th. And what you don't see there is we've had our 5th and 6th grade team invited to the state competition here in a couple of weeks. She's done miracles in a short period of time with those kids, and the kids are loving it. Our high school applications are ready now for enrollment for the fall, and immersion schools will be ready here pretty soon. Wrestlers are doing really well. They've competed well. Basketball playoffs for everyone is starting up from all of your individual counties. And one thing I want to mention about our power lifters, that's something that's not mentioned much, and followed very closely, but our kids finished first at a large school division at Shakota last week. I think we had 11 lifters that finished in the top 10. Keep in mind, there's different classes that they're in. I think that concludes my report at this time, unless you have any questions.
Councilor Hargis?
You mentioned the fall applications already, or should someone, if they're interested in attending, should they contact you now and get that filled out, or?
They can, or they can have one mailed. I was told the ones on the website, they'll be up on the website pretty quick, but they're too late to upload those right now, but they'll be up probably in a week or two.
So they would just call the main office?
Yeah,
and what's
yeah, and
that
have one
number?
mailed. Or they can go by school and pick one up.
Do you have the number to the office? Do you know?
453-4000.
Thank you.
5172 is my extension, if that'll help out any
We
also.
won't put that out.
And Mr. Warner, I've got our people ready for the call on the wrestling situation, so they're kind of know a little bit about what's going on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So whenever you do call, they'll be ready for you.
Comment.
Just a couple of comments on last night on the honor students. That was quite impressive on where the students were selecting that they were going to attend. Years ago, you wouldn't have them going to University of Cornell. The first 5 that were announced were University of Tulsa, OSU, OU, Cornell. It went down that order before we even got to the valedictorian. That was just really neat there, you know. Years ago, they'd be going to University of Nycut or University of Lease Creek, so we've come a long way.
Flamin'
here.
Rainbow University, maybe.
Yeah. But commend your staff for an outstanding job.
I sure will. Thank you much.
Yeah, and Councilman Walkenstick was there also to support the kids.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Qualls, I was going over Jody with y'all's budget over at Sequoia, and I just want to commend you guys. You guys are $200,000 less than what it was last year on your spending, and so it looks you guys have a very healthy budget. You guys can be able to make it till the end of the year, and so that's good news.
Well, it's a team effort. Our people are scrutinizing everything that comes through and try not to take anything away from the kids.
Not to take salary away.
No. What was what's I know the BIA and BIE's being here at Cherokee Nation here recently. What's our MOA or MOU with the BIA or BIE?
The only one I know of is the one that was signed back in '86, I believe.
Was that the
It was a resolution maybe or a contract.
okay? And is it the BIA's responsibility to take care of Sequoia, or is it ours, or how does that read, the MOA?
Well, they will continue to fund us. If I remember right, it reads that Cherokee Nation takes responsibility for maintaining the school with supplemental. It doesn't say supplemental. I don't know what the wordage is, that the BIE will continue to fund and supplement Sequoia.
Can you get that to Gail to distribute to all the council?
Sure.
The MOA?
Sure.
Because I hear, like, when we was going to meet with the BIA, I heard some people say, they're letting our school, fall through, and, they're letting our buildings, just kind of be ran down, and we're putting the blame on the BIA and BIE that is underfunded. And if they're not going to step up, Cherokee Nation's going to step up. It's going to be one or the other. But I just want to know whose responsibility is it?
Well, our line officer, Catherine Fothery, who's the regional line officer, is the one that pretty much orally told me, and I looked it up, And William Nuttall also works out of that office at Oklahoma City. Well, with the reorg, that office may go away. I'm not for sure how that's going to come out.
I was reading that. On that reorg, are you familiar with any of that?
Yes.
Okay. said that Oklahoma City was going to be a JOM office.
Yeah, and these two people don't know much about JOM.
So are they being reassigned to JOM? Or
I really don't
That-
know.
yeah.
They would have to answer that. That's what their thoughts, that they might be involved with it, and they really don't know anything about JOM. That's two different things, JOM and BIE.
And then it said that this is the first year to have a national JOM director up in Washington. Like who took over that position? Because BIE is the one that filled the position.
You know, I don't know. We don't get, Sequoia does not get any JOM money.
Yeah.
So I try to keep up with it a little bit because I was over it when I was at Tahlequah.
Ain't nobody here that would know that either. Okay.
That's why I'm really appreciative of the tag money, because, you know, we buy school supplies for the kids, we buy soap in the dorms, toothpaste, and we don't have the JOM or the impact aid to help us out on that, like
Yeah.
other schools have.
Sure.
So we appreciate that.
Well, that's a good report, Qualls. Anybody have any other questions for Mr. Qualls? Seeing none. All right.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
All right, have a good. Next, from the Cherokee Nation Foundation, we got Ms. Janice Randall.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
This month is not my month to report, so really today I just have an announcement, good news that that my board requested me come today and announce, and that is that on Wednesday, February 10th, the Cherokee Nation Foundation Board met and they passed a resolution to create a matching endowment fund of $100,000. For the endowment funds donated, Cherokee Nation Foundation will match from $5,000 being the minimum to a maximum of $25,000 per donor. The donor can name the endowment, they can honor their loved one, they can set up the perimeters agreeable to them. The earnings from these endowments will be used to fund scholarships. It will also be a tax deduction for the donor. And so I would like each of you to go back into your communities. I'm not asking for money from your budget or something like that. I would just want you to make your constituents aware of this opportunity, because we always talk about our programs. And when I went Friday, and each of you have put me in contact with the schools in your communities, and I hope that we've been able to go into every community and help the students. You all are very good at opening the doors for the foundation. And we want to offer more scholarships. We just have a few scholarships, so they set aside a money that would earn interest. And one of the board members went and talked to Chief Baker, and he is on board with this, and he's committed to leaving a legacy for his grandmother, I believe. It's not determined yet. One of our board members, she is donating a large sum of money. She met someone at the hospital gala and was just happened to be sitting by them, and they have family members, and when she was telling them that the foundation was trying to do this, they were very interested in creating one. And Victoria has had one for her mother even before we had the matching funds. And so, you know, if someone donates $5,000 and the foundation matches, then that donor gets to decide if they want the student to have to be from a certain district, or if they want them to go to a certain university, or if they want them to maintain a 2.5, a 3.0, if it's for $500 a semester, is it renewable? All those things we sit down and we work with the donors. But this is the first time we've had the money set aside, and the money will not be used for programming. This is money for that specific scholarship, and it will not change. That's what it will go for. So I made you guys a little card with the exact information so that you can remember when you talk to people. And hopefully we can build up the scholarships that we're giving.
Councilor Vasquez?
Yes, I just think that we owe her and the group a round of applause.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you guys. You've made it extremely easy to do these programs, and I've got a great job. I love it.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janice.
Thank you.
While she's passing those out, we'll go down to old business. There's none pending. New business, Chief Bird would like to take that.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to commend Counselor Walkenstick for really getting out there and being a product of the dependent schools and doing his research and communicating to the rest of the council members and in this area about what we're trying to do here at the tribe. And as the chairman of the Education Committee, I think he's gone above and beyond to take that stance, and he's really done a good job. So I want to try to present this, and then there's a couple changes that's been made. So at this time, I'll read the resolution here. It's the resolution declaring support for the dependent public schools located within the Cherokee Nation's territorial jurisdiction and former reservation boundaries. I think what we talked about was striking, I put that in form of a motion with a couple of changes I want to recommend.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
Second. All right. All those, actually, we'll go to discussion.
Yeah.
Chief Bird?
In the discussion, I'd like to strike where it says jurisdiction and former reservation boundaries. That's not the format we've used in the past, and so if you would do that, I think there in the fourth whereas, sixth whereas, and on the back, where it says be that resolved, there's one there we need to strike. Also, in the whereas there that we're looking at is, whereas the Cherokee Nation recently contributed $4.7 million in automobile car tag monies to dependent and independent school districts in accordance with the compact with the state of Oklahoma, demonstrating our ongoing support, commitment to all aspects of public education at a time when these monies are greatly needed by public schools in Oklahoma in light of the state of Oklahoma's severe budget crisis. And on the last, be further resolved that the Cherokee Nation values public education in every aspect, that the Cherokee Nation has a long-standing commitment to see the goals of public education are met, and encourage the state of Oklahoma to make funding of public education its top priority. I would put that in form of a motion.
Frankie, did you accept that?
Second.
Accept that? You accept? Okay, discussion. Yes, Councilman Baker?
Just a question. It now reads located within the Cherokee Nation's jurisdiction area.
Yes, yes, correct.
Any other discussion?
Shelley, you making those changes?
Trying
Okay.
to keep up with them, yes.
Did you want this presented tonight, Chairman?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We would forward this to full council tonight. Councilman Crittenden, do you have discussion?
On the seventh whereas, which is the closure. Now, I'd like to have an or consolidation added there.
Okay. Who made the motion on that?
That's Joe.
Joe, do you accept that?
I'd rather do that in a separate resolution, because what I want to do is take this and go present it to the governor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd rather do that separate resolution, if you wouldn't mind.
Instead of later time.
Yes, if you would, please.
I'll withdraw my.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other discussion on this? Yes, Councilman Lay.
And so the funding comes from the tag,
Yes.
and so it comes out of the whole pot of the tag money.
We're not committing anything financially. We just want to let the state of Oklahoma know that we support, and this is how much we contribute at this time.
Oh, it's just support?
Yes.
We're not funding
No,
these schools?
Just with the tag money.
that's already been given to them. That's how much we gave Friday. That's all we're doing, just letting them know. Try to strengthen our,
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Like to be added as a sponsor.
Okay.
Good.
Anyone else like to be added as a sponsor? Raise your hand. Pretty much everybody. All right. I've one comment. Like I said, the House Bill 2824 got turned down, and just again, I just appreciate you guys making those calls and supporting these dependent schools. I also like to thank the legal counsel for coming up with the data on this. It says that 47% of our citizens that are in the dependent public school system are Cherokee, and a lot of us serve those schools, and those are, as Ron Etheridge says, those are the heartbeat of our communities, cornerstones, and so anyways, if you guys got state reps in your areas, just continue just lobbying those efforts. So anyways, we're going to call for the question. We had a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right. Next, Councilman Critton, would you take that, please?
Discussion only. Strategies to support public schools in our 14 county jurisdictions.
Yeah. All right, you got a motion? You got a second?
No.
Okay, you don't need a motion or second for discussion. Thank you, Councilman Baker. Does anybody have any strategies to support the public schools 14 county that could possibly supplement budget cuts that's going on across the state? Okay. Well, I'll just kind of comment. Okay, Councilman Warner.
I mean, does it, how many of you go to like superintendent's meeting in your local area? No. I think that's one way to start. I've been to one. I haven't been to a whole bunch. Just started and went to one, and you've got them all in there, and you can kind of get some of that one-on-one FaceTime, and then they allow you the information and some of the things that they are going through, and it starts that relationship. With anything, you got to have a relationship to have anything, and I think that is one possible strategy. Even though a lot of us already know some of them, you already have a relationship. With me, I've got 5 K through 12s, and I got 5 K through 8s in the district. So it's important, and it was really eye-opening to me that they all really support each other. Even though it could be beneficial for one or the other to do one thing or the other. So I mean, that's just one strategy, is just starting to maybe find out when they all are meeting. Maybe they all don't meet like that. I don't know. I know it's in our area, the neck of the woods, that's kind of what they do, and they have these little meetings. So just a comment. Thank you.
Chief Bird.
We could have our, if you would, Councilor Warner, and everybody else, we could have our legal draft up a form letter to give the superintendent, so we'd all be on the same page.
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Is that all right with everybody?
Very good.
Okay.
I was just, we talk about impact aid. A lot of schools in our area get impact aid. Every kid that lives in a house that gets on Indian land gets $3,000. Brings $3,000 per kid to the district. So you have 3 kids in a household. That's $9,000. I know when if a school purchases land, they can't turn around and sell it, but they can deed it over to another state agency, which could be our housing authority. It's a state agency, and they can build houses on that piece of property that the school deeded over. And I don't know if there can be some kind of regs on there where it's just for families or, I mean, families with kids that live in those houses to impact the school. Just throwing some ideas out there. You guys could be, yes, Councilman Lay?
And you're on the right track here. A school district, and I've tried to work with several, and we have worked with some NOWATA years ago. And Joe was probably either chief or on the council when NOWATA gave us some property. And Gary has built some of his houses on that property. And the thing that I worked with these communities is that you're right, a school district can't give us property. They have to deed it to the county or the city, an entity of that nature, and then they can either give or sell it to us. And I don't know if they could give it to our housing authority. I think that would be a stretch. But if y'all can go to your community schools and try to, sometimes these schools have a vacant lot somewhere, or sometimes the city has a lot that they've taken back for non-payment of taxes, or the folks moved off and they had to tear the house down and they took the property on a tax lien. And the city or the county can give it to us, to build houses, and then they get the impact aid. I'm not too sure it can go straight from the school
It's got
to
some processes to go
the
through.
housing authority. There's about 2 jumps, kind of like playing checkers. There's about 2 or 3 jumps we got to go through to get them. But we've done some of it already, and perhaps you all have too in some places. And I know that in one of my school districts, we had a pushback on JOM for years and years, and we finally got it through last year. I think most of you already have JOMs wherever you're at, but we had one district that was just a holdout for some reason. We finally got that, and it was a really good feeling to be involved with that. So.
You know, Councilman Lay, speaking of JOM, registration. Linda O'Leary, used to be a 1.5 to 2 year wait to get a Cherokee travel card. Now, schools that have students that are JOM, they expedite it to 2 to 3 weeks. That's huge for schools because they get those counts up for JOM and Title VII, increases their counts. So this is good discussion here with you guys, with just being creative and finding ways that we can supplement funds. We just can't go and give schools money, but we have services throughout the tribe that could benefit schools to increase their budgets in other ways. That doesn't affect them directly with just, you know, giving them money like we did our tag monies. Another thing, 95% of our dollars go to the distribution of all the money that the schools, the $4.7 million, that was 95% of that pot went to all the schools. 5% of that we use, well, here the last couple of years is the A through F grading system. You guys familiar with that? There's been talk about maybe getting some grants. We used to do grants, $25,000 grants to schools, and if they use it for like cultural outreach or something like that. But it could be something this council could change in a budget mod of putting that 5% towards competitive grants for public schools. What's your thoughts on that?
Discussion item.
Yes, Councilman Buzzer.
Well, Counselor, I wonder, I guess I'd like to hear the first, maybe Ron Estridge said, has this been successful in using that 5% for these type of programs? Because it's used them as a outreach for these schools. But also like the other program where it was a competitive grant for schools. I think what that does is cause those superintendents and teachers in those schools to more look at culture toward the Indian kids and toward the school programs. I like that part of it. I think it worked really good for the last 2 or 3 years at the end. So I think it's a good idea to take a look at that and see if we want to put it back as a competitive grant.
Okay.
Used for culture stuff, used for language. Don't think there's any salaries involved with it at all. So I think we need to specify no salaries used because most schools have JOMs where they can support that grant, or the culture program at schools also. So I think it's good discussion.
Yeah, there is. I think they use about, I have to get with Jody Reese, but I think they use about 300,000 of that for salaries and so forth out of that. But there's about if I remember, I think there's about $600,000 in there that can be used for grants, or outreach, however you guys want to use that money for. But it's something to think about. And I mean, that 600,000 can be used for anything, not anything, because some of it's motor fuels tax money, and then the other part is the motor tag monies. So.
I was thinking it's all motor tag money.
Well, it's 5%, but their 5's matched by the motor fuels tax.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah, it's matched. 5% of that is. So, anyway, just throwing some ideas out there to you guys. Is there any other discussion on this? I wish Ron Anthony was here. Yes.
Yeah,
Councilman
can
Bud.
you, as chair, ask for an opinion on school land being
Being transferred over for impact aid
the housing
purposes?
authority? Yeah.
I will. I try to get a legal on that and see what has to be done so we can. Diane, do you have any information on that? On transferring state lands? What's like a school district buys land? What's the process to get it into the hands of the housing authority, deed it over so they can build houses on there?
I don't know, is Gary still here? That would probably be something, housing authority to happen.
I will request that through Gary and our legal. Courtney, are you familiar with any of that?
No, but I'm happy to look into it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She's
I
good.
will say this on a couple of different communities that I've spoke to about this. Each of those communities had two different ideas of the way it had to be done. So I'm not sure.
One way is the only way.
Well, it'd be good to have a concrete way legally.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilman Austin.
One of the things I think that we could do to find a way to encourage is make sure that our Cherokee students are actually registered and they're documented, because I know of one particular school that I'm really surprised how few students they show that are Cherokee. I mean, they're in the heart of Cherokee Nation, and I looked at their monies and their student count, and you go, they should have more than 27% Cherokee based on the surrounding schools. I'm not sure that they're getting their parents to do the job of getting their children registered, and the schools aren't reaping the benefit from that. So that's something that we may have some ability to affect, is better education earlier, to make sure that the kids are registered as soon as possible.
Okay. We got a comment from our legal counsel, Ms. Courtney.
Those numbers are citizens only, so there may be Cherokees who are Katuas or who are eligible for enrollment and just haven't been enrolled yet going to those schools. So maybe a registration effort would increase those numbers.
Hey, get the chief. I think Chief Baker would have some good insight on this, the housing.
Just, Counselor Lay, I think what we did, one way, I think we went to a nonprofit, and the other, I think it went to the tribe on that, wouldn't it? I think we can get this answer here. He's probably on the council then.
Hey, Chief Baker.
Put you on the spot.
Can you give us the process to get, if say if a school district buys land and they want to transfer it over to the housing authority to build houses on, what's the process on that?
Well, they can't legally give land that the school district owns. There's a whole state law process of how they, what they have to do with property that they deem excess or whatever. So apparently, we're running into some problems where they cannot legally give us 10 acres close to their school. But what they could do is, if they've got a patron, an ex-board member, you know, somebody that they've got relationships with that would donate or sell cheap 10 acres that is privately owned, then we would immediately go about the process of finding how many families that would be interested in housing there and be tickled to put in a project. But like I say, it's not totally the superintendents that aren't willing. They just legally cannot do it. Now maybe some state laws could be changed to allow such as that. But I don't know anybody ever contemplated that there would be value added to giving away school property that could make that much of a difference in some of these rural schools. I mean, if we've got 10 houses next to one of these rural schools and there was 2.3 kids in it, it would make a major impact on their budget. I'd have to pull the phone out and do the math on it, but you know, $2,800, $2,900 per kid that lives in the house, that goes to that school, and if there's 3 kids in the house, you're getting, close to $8,700 that would follow those 3 kids all the way through that school, and then it would go to high school with them when they went on to high school. So if you got 10 of them, it makes a major impact.
Chief, I think, we got a former administrator here and probably would bail us all out. Bruce, do you know how this is done?
The chief was right on, he's right on. Anytime that a school district has property, it belongs to the state, okay? If the school district buys that property, it's in that school district, but it belongs to the state. The only way you can get rid of that property is surplus property. You declare it surplus, and then you can auction it off. And that way, everybody's entitled to bid on that property. But as far as the school giving something away, it's like this council. You cannot give anything away. It has to go through the proper channels. And that's how property is with school districts.
So they auction away, and it's open. It's the public auction. Anyone
I'll
can
give you
bid
a
on
good
it.
example. Chief touched on it. There was a doctor in my district that gave away 40 acres to the school. And they built 20 homes.
Okay.
They're still there.
That's what I was
They're
wanting to
still
hear.
occupied. That's a way to get around this little problem.
Thank you, Chief. You talk like a former council member.
Where my heart still is.
All right.
Okay, we'll still get a legal opinion on that to bring that to superintendents. Yeah. Any other discussion? Saying none? Okay, motion to adjourn. Second, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.